All right. Hello, entrepreneurs. Joe DeCharis, CPA extraordinaire, coming to you live from downtown Levittown, Long Island, New York, for another amazing interview with one of my favorite people in the world, the incredible, invincible Mr. Vincent Lanci. And this is for you, Vince.
Joe, I'm excited to be here and always great talking with you, catching up with you, talking New York sports too.
Oh, yeah. So let's get a picture of your shirt there. I should have warned you that. Yes, yes. Let's hope that Judge hits number 62 tonight.
Had to wear it for Joe today, and the Jets won last week. We have 2 wins before Christmas, so that's a
It's
big.
unbelievable. I don't think between the two New York football teams we've had this many wins in like decades.
Yeah. Hopefully, we can hold on for a little longer.
We still have hopes for the Super Bowl for both teams. So that's amazing.
We're behind the Bills. That's it.
And yeah, so you just went through my friend Ian. He was one of my best friends for a long time, and he just ripped through Florida. Uh, and you survived. You survived.
Now it's 10 summers of maybe 12 summers of hurricanes, not all as big as this, but the preparation, the no groceries in the grocery store, no toilet paper.
Oh,
it's empty.
The panic. It's the panic before the storm that's worse than the storm.
Yeah, we got very lucky in Tampa. It was supposed to direct hit, and then it went right to the side of us. So prayers for everybody in Fort Myers area for sure. Terrible.
Oh yeah, I didn't. You just told me about that. I wasn't aware of that. But life is unpredictable, and if you don't know Mr. Lanci, he survived a almost near fatal car accident. Right? It wasn't a car accident actually. You got hit by a car.
Yes.
And they said that you would never be able to take care of yourself, let alone write a whole series of books and be a speaker. And what did you say? Tell me I can't, and I'll show you I will.
Yeah, tell me I can't, and I will. I signed. That's how you know if one day when my books are much more recognized and in more of a bigger stage to make a difference. Every book I've signed for that book is "Tell me I can't, and I will."
Yes.
Every single one.
So, yeah, and you will be widely recognized. I'm going to make a prediction right now. You just keep doing what you're doing.
Yeah.
And it'll happen. It doesn't happen overnight. Who said? I think Steve Jobs says it's amazing how long an overnight success takes.
10 years in the making. Once it happens, it will seem like an overnight success, but it's really been the ups and downs. As Joe knows, you have to hear his episodes on That Entrepreneur Show. It gives so much to the entrepreneur world. There's ups and downs, and you got to find a way to stay alive.
Oh yeah, it's what did Vince Lombardi say? Something to the effect that the winner isn't always the bigger, stronger, more talented person.
Yeah.
It's the person that wants it more. It's tenacity, it's dedication, it's what do you call it? Oh, I lost the word now. My coach Larry Broughton told me it's discipline. It's discipline. Really that's what it comes down to. If you know that you have a message, and you definitely do, and you just keep with it. And my friend Craig Duswell taught me this, that you always show up. You always show up because you don't know who's watching. Okay, and that's what you do. You keep doing it, and now you have a series of books. What number are you on? I lost track.
I've got 4 out, and we'll talk about it, I'm sure, later. Books 5 and 6, the bundle. I'm trying my best for the holidays, but again, as Joe knows, there's a lot of unpredictable things that happen in entrepreneurship. And
entrepreneurship, being an author, the easy part is writing the book.
Yeah.
People don't realize that. I just published a new book, The Secret Sauce of Accounting and Tax, U.S. Tax Preparation. And I thought it was, it's a good thing I'm not doing this. I did the easy part. I just wrote it. And I have a team, they're doing, the promotion, they're uploading it to Amazon. And So it's on. I didn't know how many facets there are to this.
It's incredible. Even from just if you have to upload the book, you have to format the book, get a cover design, approve of the cover design, you name it. But trial and error. I mean, you have about 6 books too, don't you, Joe?
Yeah, but I gave it to other people to do all that stuff. But now I see now I know what I paid for because it's like internal. It's my team. And so I think that it's done. It's already on Kindle. We already got bestseller status. I already have royalties earned. I'm like, oh my God, people are reading this. That's scary. I hope I said the right thing. But now they're saying, so now actually publishing the actual book is a whole nother thing. I said,
Oh,
I
yeah.
thought we're done with it. So who's doing this stuff for you?
Well, to all the solopreneurs out there, for a long time I was all on my own, and budget is a thing. You have to every dollar and cents, and even that relates to even discipline with the dollar and cents, because when you're an entrepreneur, you're giving up money in other areas. Even to this day, people ask me to go out, and I still have my regimented 6 days a week because now I have a TikTok employee, which is cool, the illustrators. But you got to find a way to do it on your own. Networking, relentless networking, similar to how me and Joe met. If I can't afford to outsource it, I have to speak with people who are great at what they do, know how to do it. And I network with a few people, learn what they say. And now I've uploaded 4 books on Amazon, all on my own, from the formatting to the cover, you name it. It takes time. You have to have patience. And like, for example, the cover for this book, Mental Health Week, for some reason, they gave it to me with the specs, but it wouldn't upload properly. And I'm playing email tag with my illustrator who's in Utah, a different time zone, trying to get the book out at the date I promoted it for, I advertised for. And granted, it happened. But when you're on your own, there's no one else to blame, no one else to get help from. It's just keep plugging away.
That's the beauty of having a team. I could always put we have one person, Elizabeth. We say when all else fails, it's Elizabeth's fault. Everything goes down. She's got big shoulders, so she's like, blame it on me. I don't care as long as we get it done. But I knew I had a sense that you were going to be successful when I first started with you because you had such a regimented, disciplined schedule. I never told you this, but I was amazed. You were like, okay, I do these, the next 6 months worth of podcast by the 13th, and then I upload them on this date. I'm like, oh my God, this guy's like a freaking general. Where does he?
Well, it's that big thing for me. I don't have it upstairs right now. I'm up here with the pup. I have a big whiteboard, and now it used to just be daily, but now it's a weekly. I have a big whiteboard. I do 7 days. I do, as you know, 3 a.m. to 3 p.m. That's my 12 hours, my jam. I can't really push it too much longer unless it's from Joe. Joe, I did the night interview for you, sure.
Oh, wow. I'm honored.
It's, what works for some doesn't work for everyone. I found a way to leverage that. I'm a morning person. I sacrificed my social life a long time ago, really after my accident, a few years after that. Once you have entrepreneurship, there's always something to do. For example, the website. I neglected the website for like 2 months, and that took me about 16, 17 hours the last weekend to get caught up. So if I have it written, I visualize it, all my Zoom recordings, my podcasts, my part-time hustles, all of that there. I'm able to visualize what's my best way to succeed. And that when we first met, I was doing, I call my podcast benders, where I'll hit, 7 to 10 recordings some days, just rock and roll.
Yeah.
Very humble to have different time zones from Australia to Berlin, all the way to New York, Florida, California. Those shows have grown, but there's no way I can do it alone without my good old whiteboard.
Yeah. So, I have a whiteboard. I have a bunch of tools, but so let's take a step back. If you could just quickly summarize for people that don't know you,
Right.
What happened, where you are now, and what you're planning on doing.
All right. Yeah. Well, thank you for the opportunity to do that. And again, for having me on, Joe. I've had a great time so far. But my story isn't one that started positive, but I'm doing my best to transform it into that. I was walking home one evening, didn't want to get in the car with someone drinking or myself drinking and driving. I lived within a mile, figured the easiest and safe thing is to go walk home. On my walk home, I learned that sometimes things don't work out as planned. I expected to go home, let my dog out, go to sleep. I got hit by a car as I almost finished crossing the road and left for dead in the middle of the road. And it was during the middle of the night. I woke up about a week later at Tampa General Hospital out of a traumatic brain injury coma, where I also suffered a broken fib. That injury where your bone comes out of your leg and they put the rod in to make it look okay again. But the traumatic brain injury was much worse, scarier, and harder to recover from, where I didn't get notice a memory boost increase for about 6 years. I went through a stage where, as you mentioned, I wouldn't be able to be on my own again. I had to relearn my name, walk, talk, the whole nine, even to the point where when I woke up out of a coma, the nurse had asked, Vincent, what school do you go to? And I said Pulaski Elementary School, not University of Tampa, where I was a 21-year-old finance student ready to graduate, interviewing with companies all over. I was a kindergartner again. Had to take a medical leave with only 2 classes left, so I couldn't graduate on time. Had that stripped by me from someone I never met, didn't do anything wrong, but it just put a new perspective on life. I was interviewing for a company called West Marine. They make the boat parts and tubes, all those things, to be a market analyst out in California. That's where the interview was going. And then now today, fast forward, we're doing the mental health books and the podcast and the entrepreneur show, where how I met Joe. And it's just it's a testament to, you don't know what life's going to throw at you. As we talked about a little with the storm, anything can happen. I thought I wanted the finance title and all of that, and then I got it with my last corporate job. I was making more money than I ever had, and I was as unhappy as I ever was. So I said, it's time to stop doing things maybe indirectly for others or just not my main mission. And 2015, I started the entrepreneurial journey, and here we are, so many years later, and I'm still not even getting started. I'm still just warming up.
Listen, don't beat yourself up. You've made a lot of progress than you realize.
Yeah, progress, not perfection. Progress, not perfection. I had to learn to adopt that.
And sometimes, you need somebody like a coach or other people to say, you look at what you've done so far. So you have 4 published books.
Yep.
You got another 2 coming out. And I like to believe that there's no coincidences. Everything happens for a reason. It's tragic what happened to you, but look at how many people you're going to be able to help now. And you're taking it step by step. And that's what entrepreneurship is. You take, one step at a time. Like, we said, Steve Jobs says it's amazing how long it takes an overnight success. So that's your background.
Yeah.
I know you always have a plan. And also, let me just mention this, that I have so much respect for you, because you went, and because finances are tough, if anybody today, you went back and started working as a server. Okay, now you're not just a regular server. I mean, you got like a really, like a dream job as a server. You see all kinds of famous people, but there's no shame in keeping your day job and pursuing your entrepreneurial dream. Too many people, Vincent, they quit their job, they put themselves in a financial bind, and you're not doing that. I could see that. I respect that. You're taking your time. I know it could be frustrating. I know it could be, but that's a good frustration. It keeps you stay focused, and I'm telling you, you will be. I hope that you don't forget me. But you will go places with this.
Well, I appreciate all these kind words, Joe. You're never going to be forgotten.
If you know me, I'm not capable of lying. I don't serve platitudes out there. It's what I really believe. And part of the reason is because who you're trying to reach, who you are reaching, your audience. Can you tell me a little bit about that?
Yeah, in the beginning, I'm fresh out of grad school. I spoke at commencement. I started getting all these gigs, and I was like, I can't niche it down. My story is good for everybody. which, yes, it is. My story can certainly benefit everybody and give you perspective. My first book, Left for Dead, is that whole experience in the hospital. That's for everyone. But then I learned through trial and error in entrepreneurship, I have to really focus down. So that's where I put Mr. Lanci Talks Mental Health. Big shout out to Chris Bridge, the illustrator. Me and 6 other experts in mental health talk about different topics, different areas of mental health. It's a back pocket journal. It's supposed to be a 7-day.
I love how you did that.
I mean, like I said, Chris Bridge with the Barbara Bush Foundation, Whole Foods, honored through Dr. Denise to have networked. Again, cold networking to meet. It's for someone who loves their mental health, just needs a refresher, or someone who eats Cheetos and doesn't exercise and does all these things. It could be your back pocket resource that you go again and again and read it when you need to. So that's for the older students and faculty and for us adults. And then I said, okay, let's keep going. Mental Health Week is a fictional story. I'm a 5th grade teacher, and I take my kids on a Mental Health Week field trip to end the school year. And similar to the Magic School Bus with some motivation, it's a magic track. Whereas exercise, we all know, is good for mental and physical health. We talk about some of the things in that book, but on a smaller scale. Both books have activities and learning checkpoints. I really wanted teachers to be able to use this, parents to be able to use this. And if the kids are doing it, hopefully maybe their parents will start looking at mental health, because I'm not incredibly old. But even when I was in elementary school, there was no mental health. In high school, there was no mental health talk or whatever. So hopefully this gives some parents some love and some extra support that can help them even become not just a better parent.
Believe me, they all need extra help.
But that even drove me further, Joe. That drove me to the next bundle, the Mommy and Me books, for that one right before here. But it's also going to be another book. This is about 2nd to 5th grade. The next book is going to be Mommy and Me. And then the one that is the expanded version of that book will be an early education school book. Again, I'm hoping for the holidays. There's a lot of things that are in this book. There are these books, that are not like any other books out. I'm just not comfortable sharing it just yet. I am going to start dropping more hints about it once the illustrations are a bit further along.
My marketing guru did.
Well, shout out to your marketing team. Elizabeth has introduced, she was on my podcast as well. She introduced me to Milani, who is one of the biggest leadership gurus I've met to date. John Maxwell, extraordinaire. Joe's team is the best. You got to check them out. Bedrock Business Builders. I'm going to plug him right now.
Oh, thank you. But this is all for you.
Come on.
So, yeah, one of the things that I learned, believe it or not, through my marketing journey was that we learn from, from the time we're born. Most of the stuff that we're taught, you get like by the time you're 5 years old. Like all the things that you see, that you hear, it leaves, a serious impression on you. And, we do things, we don't even know why we're doing them. And then you find out, oh, this was, I heard this in my house or whatever, I'm not going to, whatever it is, good or bad, it doesn't matter. So I think it's awesome that you're actually doing books like this and probably educating. It's like when I got a dog trainer, I realized, I'm like, they're not training the dog, they're training me. Am I right? So is that true? I mean, you're writing the book, so tell me what your experience is with us.
I hope everyone eventually writes a book, because every single person has a story to share, whether you are too stubborn and hard on yourself like I used to be. We all have something to help other people. Every single book that I have has a different story of the process that went into it. Book 1, before my edits, were 60,000 words or something. My longest book, I was teaching English online, working in an expo, gave up the corporate to follow the entrepreneurship dream. That book was with Ray Roel. Shout out to Ray, my editor and formatter, the whole 9. And that's a book, again, about my hospital stay and everything that went into my recovery. The second book is How to Transform Your Mindset When the Norm Has Changed. I wrote a book during the pandemic, something small. It's $1 on Amazon, to help people who can't sit home, who have such difficulty with being productive at home and staying healthy when they're able to sit on the couch and eat all day. Again, helping others. Then it went to Mr. Lanci Talks Mental Health. Again, this is the go-to book for older students and adults to level up their mental health. I can even give a quick preview for your audience here, Joe.
Yeah, sure.
It starts out each chapter with 3 bullet points. Mr. Lanci says, this chapter is with Dr. Richard Basio, graduated high school and UT with him. He works in the hospitals in Miami. Your physical and mental health need care. Listen to what your body is telling you and use your senses. And then we have some insight here on the page, followed by social distancing tab. That's something to apply all of the information in present day with all the protocols. I thought that was really important. A deeper dive section, which talks about the children in their lives. If these things apply to them, these disparities we discuss in that chapter, how to help them the best you can. And of course, an activity in each chapter. So learning is still fun for adults, but I try to make it something where it puts everything together. So that's Mr. Lanci Talks Mental Health, all on Amazon. And then book 4 is Mental Health Week, again, for elementary school kids to learn the basics of mental health in a fun way. I'm the teacher in that book. We go around the mental health track, and the track you warp to different places as you walk a quarter mile at a time. Really proud to work with everyone I have on these books because I'm still a nobody, and they're taking chances working with me, associating their names with me. The experts in these books, since I don't have a medical designation, I have to justify and solidify this material as not just being someone putting pen to paper. A Dalai Lama speaker, shout out to Dr. Denise, is in these books. Therapist, psychiatrist, Dr. Carlos Garcia, other traumatic brain injury survivors, as I mentioned, Dr. Richard Basio. I really am proud about everything that's gone into these because of the feedback I've already gotten, the schools I've already been to, and the schools that are on the calendar for the rest of the year.
So you're speaking at schools.
Now that COVID's moved past and the Great American Teach-In is coming up at the end of November, where you volunteer your time, you go into schools. And last year I did Gorey Elementary School in Tampa. I've done West Shore Elementary, and I'm excited to go back to West Shore this year.
Yeah, there's a big market for speaking at schools, and I know colleges. I had a friend, Adam Ace, who is like, he kills it with the colleges. I think he works like 300 days a year, and he's a comedian, but he's one of the most brilliant entrepreneurs I ever met. But I could see you in politics at some point, and I'll tell you why. You went into this whole thing and you didn't actually answer my question, which which was the early childhood development of people, but based on where they're born. We don't get to choose our parents, our family, our teachers. But how does and I know what the answer is, but I want to know your opinion on this because now you're the expert. You're writing books on this. How does somebody address that part of their lives and either enhance on it, build on it, or reverse it? Because you could be brought up by extremely positive people and somehow you wind up in trouble. And, if you go back, you could say, well, what was I taught? And then the reverse, you might be having, you don't know why you feel like this. And you go back and you're like, oh, well, somebody told me that I was stupid, when I was 4 years old. So how is it possible to address, and how would you do it? Is it part of your books?
Everything in my podcast, the mental health career, their books. I think the biggest thing to stress of the whole thing is that you're not alone. You have to accept that just because you're winning at one part of life, there are several facets to life, and you have to remember that you can't be perfect. You can't put too much pressure on yourself. But the main thing is that what works for some doesn't work for everyone. I know people who get discouraged because say exercise isn't their thing, but it is for me. There's journaling, there's yoga, there's meditation, there's healthy eating, there's hydration. There are so many ways to improve your mental health, and I would recommend just starting with one. Just pick one and start with small steps in a small time, and then as you get comfortable with that, a week, 2 weeks, maybe add something else. Don't just, if you eat only fast food every day and soda, try to eat healthy, go to the gym, only drink water.
Oh, I know people like that, and they keep saying, "Oh, I don't understand why I always feel sick." And then they're eating Taco Bell.
Yeah, you won't overload yourself.
Taco Bell. I love Taco Bell. I just can't eat it all the time. But I guess what you're saying really is, I guess it doesn't matter what what happened, what didn't happen when you were growing up. You really got to take where you are now, and there's always room for improvement, right?
Always room for improvement, and that's some. You could always be better than yesterday. Every failure is really just a lesson learned, and there's always something out there for you. Just give it a try. The worst thing that happens is you don't like it. I strongly recommend my podcast, The Mental Health Break. That's weekly episodes, and I bring on mental health professionals and advocates from all around the world to share their stories. And you'll be able to find something, even if it's just a 5-minute walk per day, you'll notice the difference. Just walking outside, the fresh air, getting sunlight for vitamin D, you name it. But I hope that does answer your question when you talk to me.
Yeah, absolutely.
This is a huge book. I can go down a rabbit hole with
I
that
was expecting something else, but I'm like, wait a second, you are answering it. So one last question. How, well, this isn't the last question, but I'm going on Amazon now, and I'm just going to type in your name and see what comes up.
Yeah, Vincent A. Lanci.
Vincent A. Lanci. So, oh yeah, here we go. Mr. Lanci talks mental health week. So you're up here. Left for Dead. Awesome. So if you want to buy one or all of Mr. Lanci's books, just go to Amazon. Yeah, I love that first book, the cover.
You want to know what, Joe? I wanted, a brain with some barbells, and Chris was like, Vincent, how many books say mental health with a man's face on them?
Oh yeah, that's.
So once it's not. I did again the solopreneur, the budget, and I wanted to make money, make more royalties from an Amazon type thing. The Barnes and Noble, Target, it was all too hard for the moment. So I hope that's motivation for anyone out there. You can always reach out to me. I do courses on book publishing from A to Z, podcasting A to Z. If you want to do it, just do it. Feel free to reach out to me, network with me. You see,
okay, so how do they reach you?
At Vincent A. Lanci. I don't manage all, but I do manage some. We'll get all messages. My email, and Eric will answer you or me right away, is info@vincentalanci.com right there. And again, I hope the processes of my book experiences I answered for Joe helped you. I hope my answer to that mental health question helped you. And again, Joe, thank you so much for letting me come on your show. It's an honor.
Oh, yeah. It's a pleasure for me. You always have something positive to share. I put the link to your website. I hope it works in the chat.
Yeah, vincentalanci.com.
Definitely reach out to Vincent. If anything, you're going to walk away with some definite enthusiasm. Like his positivity rubs off on you. We do have. Okay, there we go. Somebody put probably Elizabeth. She works in the background sometimes. She's always there. I didn't even know she was on your podcast, so I'm going to yell at her for not telling me that. She's sort of shy, but she shouldn't be. So if you are listening, Elizabeth, I'm calling you out. Thank you so much, Vincent. Parting words of wisdom.
Parting words of wisdom. It only takes one. It could be one connection, one email, one, you name it. You can go to the gas station and meet somebody in there, have a conversation. He'd be your target client or just the person who knows someone that can help you. I wish I didn't overload myself so much, so I had the opportunity to do more masterminds and more networking events, but soon enough I'll have free time and it'll be worth it. Right now it's
no, you'll never have free time. That's my parting words.
Yeah.
Once you go into business for yourself, free time it doesn't exist.
The weekends are my best days. There's no distractions. I work. I'll just get myself in a rabbit hole of some sort, and that's it.
Oh yeah, it's discipline, and you gotta. Yeah, we'll do a podcast on this topic because it is important. Great. Structuring your day, your week. I think both of us can be considered experts at that.
Elizabeth, if you're on here, let's get it going. Get it
All
booked.
right. Thank you. That's VincentALanci.com. Over and out. That's our story. We're sticking